From Nala possibly being Scar's daughter to the reason Simba's own son was erased from the story, today we're breaking down 10 Lion King secrets that change everything. But first, if you love Simba, drop a lion emoji. And if you're a Disney fan, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Number 1. Was Scar a cannibal? Here's a question nobody wants to think about. After Scar shoves his own brother off that cliff, Mufasa falls to his death, and then his body is just left there. The movie never addresses it again. So, what happened to it? The obvious guess is the hyenas. But look it up and you'll find that hyenas supposedly don't eat lions. And according to most sources, the only animal in the entire kingdom that eats a lion is another lion, which sounds like a closed case, especially when you remember that the TV series gave us a scene of Scar casually playing with a skull in his paw. Except two things push back on that. First, hyenas absolutely will eat a dead lion's corpse if they get the chance, no matter what a quick search tells you. They're scavengers. A free meal is a free meal. And second, that skull Scar's toying with, it looks like a lion at a glance. Look closer and it's actually a baboon. So, did Scar eat his own brother? Almost certainly not. But lions do kill and eat other lions. So to the original question, is Scar a cannibal? Yes. He just didn't do it to Mufasa. Number 2, is Nala actually Scar's daughter? We know Simba is the son of Mufasa and Sarabi, and at the end of the movie, he falls in love with Nala, his childhood best friend. We also know Nala's mother is Serafina, so who's her father? Here's what makes this uncomfortable. According to animal experts, a pride typically has only a small number of adult males breeding with all the females in it, and in the Pride Lands, we only ever see 2 adult male lions, Mufasa and Scar. Mufasa is Simba's father, so that leaves exactly one candidate for Nala's, and it fits visually too. Nala and Scar are the only lions in that entire film with green tinted eyes, while everyone else has warm amber, which would mean Simba and Nala aren't just childhood friends. They'd be first cousins, and the future king would have married his uncle's daughter. Now, the filmmakers have said Nala's father was simply another lion we never see, but the movie never shows him, never names him, and never explains where he went. How did we all miss this? Number 3. How did Rafiki know Simba was alive? This is one of the smartest details in the entire film, and it's easy to miss completely. Simba is lying on the ground far away in the jungle on a windy evening. A gust lifts the leaves around him and scatters them off into the distance. Cut to Rafiki, who catches those leaves and studies them. At first, he has no idea what he's looking at. Then something clicks, and he knows instantly that Simba is alive. So how does a mandrill far from the Pride Lands recognize the scent of a lion he last saw as a newborn? Look at what Rafiki is eating in that scene. It's baobab fruit, a fruit considered sacred in parts of Africa. Now go all the way back to the start of the movie. Right after Simba is born, Rafiki cracks open that exact same fruit and uses the paste to mark Simba's forehead during the presentation ceremony. So, when those wind-carried leaves reach him carrying that same baobab scent, Rafiki isn't guessing. He's recognizing his own mark, the one he put on a cub years earlier. He didn't smell Simba. He smelled himself. Number 4. The original Lion King script was insane. The Lion King we know almost didn't happen. The original story is nearly unrecognizable. It wasn't about brothers at all. The plot wasn't built on a sibling rivalry between 2 lions. It was a full-scale war between the lions and the baboons. And Scar wasn't a lion. He was the head baboon, the leader of the enemy army. Timon and Pumbaa were Simba's childhood friends, not strangers he meets in exile. The meerkat and the warthog were originally written as cubs growing up alongside him, which completely removes the loneliness at the heart of the story. And Rafiki wasn't a baboon, which answers the obvious question of whether he was evil, since the baboons were the villains. He wasn't, because in that version, Rafiki was a cheetah. Same wise mentor role, completely different animal. Honestly, thank God they changed all of it. Number 5. 5 facts about Simba's pride. 5 things you didn't know about the sequel. Sarabi was removed out of respect. She was still alive at the end of the first film, but she's absent from the sequel because her voice actress, Madge Sinclair, died not long after the original released, and the filmmakers chose to leave the character out rather than recast her. Kiara was almost called Aisha. Disney changed it after realizing the Yellow Ranger and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers already had that name. A scrapped Zira scene. There was a sequence where Zira gets angry at Kovu for not killing a bug after playing with it. It was cut. Simba was originally going to die. In an earlier concept, Simba is killed by an outlander. They dropped it because it was too close to Mufasa's death in the first movie. Vitani had a much darker name. She was originally called Shetani until Disney realized it means devil in Swahili. You can still catch characters using it in the finished film. Her final name comes from a root meaning war, so it lands closer to of battle. Number 6. How did Scar actually get his scar? There isn't one answer to this. There are several, and they contradict each other. Version 1, the buffalo. In the book A Tale of Two Brothers, Scar tries to humiliate Mufasa by starting a buffalo stampede. It backfires spectacularly, and one of the buffalo catches him with a horn across the face. Afterward, he tells everyone to start calling him Scar, as a permanent reminder to himself never to make that mistake again. Version 2, the snake. In The Lion Guard, there's a flashback where a snake attacks him and bites him near the eye. He reports what happened to his brother, and Mufasa responds by giving him the humiliating nickname Scar, which is where his resentment starts. Two completely different origins. One is self-inflicted shame he chose to carry, the other is a wound his brother mocked him for. And notice they can't both be true. Number 7. The real answer is sadder than both. For years, fans assumed Disney would eventually confirm the obvious version that Scar got the wound challenging Mufasa for the throne and losing. The live-action remake even hints at it. Then, Mufasa, the Lion King, gave us the actual answer, and it's nothing like that. First, his name was never Scar, it was Taka, and here's how he gets the wound. In the film's climactic battle, the villain Kairos is about to strike Mufasa down with his claws, and Taka throws himself between them. He takes the hit. He saves his brother's life. That scar isn't a mark of failure, and it isn't a punishment. It's the one genuinely heroic thing he ever did. But look at what happens next. After the battle, Mufasa becomes king and tells Taka he'll always have a place in the kingdom despite the betrayal that came before, but that he can never call him by his old name again, and Taka picks the new one himself. He asks to be called Scar as a permanent reminder of his betrayal. Sit with that. He earned that wound protecting the person he'd wronged, and then chose to wear it as a symbol of the worst thing he ever did instead of the best. He turned his own redemption into a punishment and carried it for the rest of his life. That's not a villain origin. That's a man who never forgave himself. Number 8. The Lion King timeline makes no sense. Here's how the franchise is supposed to fit together. The Lion King, Simba grows up, defeats Scar, becomes king. The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. Simba now has a daughter, Kiara, who falls in love with Kovu, a lion raised by Scar's exiled followers. The Lion Guard, the Disney series, focused on Simba's second-born Kion, who leads a team defending the Pride Lands. Simple enough until you actually try to place that third one. Put the Lion Guard between the two movies, and it breaks. Put it after them, and it breaks differently. Characters who should have aged look identical. Events directly contradict each other. There is no arrangement of these three stories where all of them are true at the same time. Number 9. Where is Kion in Simba's Pride? And the biggest hole in that timeline is a person. Kion isn't a minor character. He's Simba's son and the leader of the Lion Guard, which means he should absolutely be present for the most important events in the kingdom's history. Watch Simba's Pride again. He is completely, totally absent. Not one line, not one shot. As if Disney erased him. And the ages don't work either. In Simba's Pride, Kiara grows up. She explores the Pride Lands, meets Kovu, and prepares to become queen. Meanwhile, the Lion Guard shows her as a cub, while Kion is out building a team, facing new threats, and traveling across the savannah. So, the fandom built theories to explain the gap. One says Kion was away during the events of the film, off on a long journey searching for a cure for the scar that was threatening his destiny. Another says it was simply a creative choice. Disney wanted the film focused entirely on Simba, Kiara, and Kovu. But then, there's one specific scene that breaks all of it. In the Lion Guard's final season, we finally reach the moment Kion returns to the Pride Lands, right as Kiara is about to become queen. At a glance, it looks like it slots perfectly into the ending of Simba's Pride. Now go watch that ending. Kiara stands with Kovu. Simba is beside her. Together, they look out over the united Pride Landers and outsiders, and the circle of life is complete. No Kion, no Lion Guard, no return ceremony, nothing. Two versions of the same moment, and only one of them has Simba's son in it. Number 10. The real reason Kion was erased. Here's the answer nobody wants, and it's the saddest one. The Lion Guard was created almost 20 years after Simba's Pride, which means it wasn't written into that story, it was retrofitted into a legacy that had already been sealed shut. Kion couldn't be in Simba's Pride because when Simba's Pride was made, Kion didn't exist yet. And look at what that forced the writers to do with him. The series closes the door on Kion ever taking his father's throne. Instead, his destiny lies somewhere else entirely. He becomes a king in a different land, which quietly breaks the franchise's central promise that the royal bloodline continues in the Pride Lands. It introduces a new kingdom and a new bloodline, and effectively creates a parallel Lion King universe, where Simba's second-born rules somewhere Disney never planned. It's a genuinely beautiful arc. It just isn't the one the Lion King promised, and the strangest part of all is how it ends. Kion's journey finishes not at Pride Rock, not with his family, but with a quiet separation from everything he came from. So when you rewatch Simba's Pride and notice he's missing from that final scene, it isn't because he wasn't there. It's because he was never written in at all. And that's it. Which one surprised you the most? A theory or a tiny detail? Let me know in the comments. If you want the next part, hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed because we're uncovering even more secrets next time.